All right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Spike Kool-Aid for Tuesday, December the 20th, 2022. And the Detroit Lions are the talk of the town, man. They're the talk of the town. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day, ain't it? It's a beautiful day. We got a lot to talk about today. We got to talk about the Rams being eliminated from playoff contention. Matthew Stafford told Kelly, I'm not retiring. We got to talk about the power rankings and also the Green Bay Packers, man. The Green Bay Packers scare me. I don't want to see them. But the Detroit Lions are the talk of not only this town, but the NFL, man. Everywhere you look, it's the Detroit Lions. Shout out to Vision. What's up, Vision? What's up? Hatter's House in the building says Lions 27, Panthers 20. Good afternoon, everyone. What's up, Gaddy? What's up, Dave? What's going on, man? How are you? I'm good, man. I'm good. It feels good to wake up Tuesday morning. Feels like Victory Monday all over again. I am just a wee bit disappointed, though, that the LA Rams could not pull off the impossible yesterday. Baker Mayfield literally knows 3 plays, man. And who else just got this icky feeling about Green Bay, man? An icky feeling about the Green Bay Packers. They just make you feel icky. The Green Bay Packers, they concern me. They concern me, but they got to go to Hard Rock Stadium and play the Miami Dolphins, who are fighting for a playoff spot. If the Miami Dolphins can beat these guys, then they are done. The Green Bay Packers at 6-8 will be eliminated from playoff contention with another loss. What frightens me is that the Green Bay Packers have 2 of their last 3 games at home, one of them being the Detroit Lions, one of them being the Minnesota Vikings. Now, you might be saying, well, it's the 11-3, Minnesota Vikings, right? They just came back against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, Aaron Rodgers has a superpower. His superpower is Lambeau Field. I'm telling you, there are 2 teams that have his kryptonite. The San Francisco 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before this year, the debacle that we're watching in Tampa. I just do not trust the Green Bay Packers. We've seen this mess before. Run the table. Relax. They counted us out. Blah, blah, blah. If they make it past Miami, I'm telling you what. I'm telling you, if the key is Miami, because Minnesota, who plays in a dome, has to go to Lambeau in January. The Green Bay Packers, bro, I'm telling you, this team pretty much a little, they're different now, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. This team has been 13-3 over 13 or 13 plus, 13 wins for the last 3 years. They suck. They're not the same Packers, but they're still the Packers, right? Now, if this was at Ford Field, if this was at U.S. Bank Stadium, then I would feel different. But I am not looking forward to this. What's up, Joseph? What's going on, man? They need a lot to go their way. Don't see it happening. Hey, all they got to do is win. If the Packers go 9-8, they need exactly what we need, Zay. They need exactly what if we lose one, that is. If we win out, it's something different. But I went over mad scenarios yesterday. Mad scenarios. And I'm telling you what, if the Lions and Packers have the same record, the Packers go. If the Lions and Packers tie, the Lions go. I went over, that's why my community post was, y'all need to relax, bro. Some of y'all in this comment section, y'all need to relax. I'm human. I make mistakes. I put U.S. Bank Stadium. It was late. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I meant Bank of America. 2 banks, my bad, okay? Everybody's like, we play, it's at Bank of America. I'm like, bruh, God, we nobody's perfect, man. I just hope the Eagles and Vikings can beat the Giants. Now, here's the thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, we don't know the word on Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew might have the start. And here's the thing. Listen, this weekend, it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's not even going to be a bold prediction. I think this weekend, you're going to see some of the best football that you've seen all year. All year. Maybe not every game, but we got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets on Thursday. Both of them coming off a short week. The Jets are 7-7. The Jags are 6 and 8 with a potential to win the AFC South. That's crazy because the Tennessee Titans have lost 4 in a row. So this weekend is going to be insane. The Lions play at 1 o'clock. If the Lions win that game, we're not going to go into an immediate post-game show. We're going to sit back, we're going to scoreboard watch, and we're going to watch that San Francisco-Washington game because that's the game that will put us in the playoffs. With a Washington loss and the Lions win, we are in the playoffs. We will overtake them for the 7th seed. Now, if Seattle wins, whenever they play, and they'll overtake us and push us back out. So I will be watching that game. The post-game show on Detroit Lions Syndicate will not be till 7. We'll go at the regular time, 7 to 8, and then I'll get on for the night game. But that's if the Lions win. But I'm telling you, man, it's shaping up for some of the best. This is going to be the best. The next month of football is going to be the best. And I got an idea, man. Just hear me out. The Green Bay Packers, they got to go on the road and play the Miami Dolphins. That's going to be a tough game because I don't see them being able to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They got Jair Alexander, but that they don't have like a shutdown secondary. And if the Miami Dolphins O-line can keep Tua up, I think they win that game. At home, it's not that game I'm worried about. It kind of is, because if they make it past them, that's when I start getting concerned. Because I'm telling you what, man, it's shaping up that the Lions are either 9-7 or 8-8. And the Packers are 8-8 when we play in Lambeau. And as far as the Sunday night game 272, that the game with the most on the line is the game that they will play Sunday night. If it's us and the Packers. But I'm telling you right now, it could be the Jags, one of them teams. Every Sunday night, they will put the most important game. The team last year, it was who was it? It was the Chargers, Raiders. The team that wins goes to the playoffs. If they tie, both of them go. And they almost tied. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. The winner took the division and had the first seed or something, and then the loser dropped all the way down to a wild card. So I'm telling you right now, the game with the most on the line is the one that they'll flex. Said, if Dan Campbell gets on, somebody let me know. I've been waiting. I know he usually gets on, I want to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? And then he doesn't get on Thursday. I think the Dolphins beat the Packers. T, I think so too. I think so too. Okay, Kenneth said, got to have faith. You know what, Ken? Here's the thing. Y'all see, I think y'all misunderstanding me. It's not the team I don't have faith in. It's not. We've been around this man long enough, man. They tried to give him the game at Ford Field. If Aaron Rodgers has something to play for in Lambeau, we've seen the debauchery that has happened at Lambeau Field, the hands to the face. We've seen the phantom face mask at Ford Field. They find a way for Aaron Rodgers to win. They tried to do it in Ford Field, and thankfully our defense stepped up enough. So I don't trust the NFL. I know that sounds, it ain't the team. The team gonna be the same team. And Aaron Jones was running all over the Rams yesterday. You see the difference with no Aaron Donald. But it's the NFL that I don't trust. What's up, Todd says, "Sup, Derek? Glad to see you and my guy David Pike." Absolutely. David Pike he's a good content creator and he has integrity. Two things that go very well together. Nice guy. Nice guy. But here's the deal. So that's a long way away, and that's something that we don't have to worry about for another 2 weeks. Right now, the Detroit Lions need to handle their business. They need to take care of business coming up against the Carolina Panthers, which we are favored to win that game. The Carolina Panthers, I don't think we've played Sam Darnold since his very first game, right? Because we haven't played, I want to say the last time we played the Jets was his rookie year. I can't really remember, but it's going to be an important game, very important game. But it's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. Don't forget, Touchdown Detroit Lions will be happening at 5 o'clock he's looking forward to that, hyped about the win, as am I. Anyone remember when Carolina shut us out 2 years ago? Time to get revenge. We still got to handle our business. Yeah, KD, that was the game, in my opinion, that pretty much cemented Matt Patricia's firing. Because when they lost that game, they had a quick turnaround. We lost that game 20-0. And the rumors immediately started to swirl that if Matt Patricia lost on Thanksgiving, he was fired. Then he lost. We got beat up by Houston, Deshaun Watson and the Texans. The last year they had any type of decency. And then later that day, he wasn't fired. The next day, he wasn't fired. He was fired on Saturday. So, but I remember Matt Patricia, man, when after that loss, he got in front of the media, and this is when I knew he was fired. When he immediately thanked his wife. It's not funny, but it kind of is. When Matt Patricia was mean, he was arrogant, and the first thing he did was he said, "I want to thank my wife." And I was like, he gone. You could just see defeat in his eyes. He was told somewhere between Monday and Wednesday, if you lose this game, you're fired. 100%. I'm going to change my name soon. Okay, all right. Well, just let me know it was you. It's because he's a headache. He's a headline. That's why I think he's good for ratings and viewership. Who, Rodgers? Yeah, but he's yeah, it's a lot of factors, and I don't want to ruin a lot of your childhood, but some of y'all know how I feel, man, about the NFL and all that stuff. But, right now we riding this wave of success from the Detroit Lions, and everyone's talking about them. I'm excited about it. It feels weird. I keep saying that. It feels weird. YouTube video after YouTube video popping up of creators who have never said anything about the Lions. And now everybody's talking. They weren't making videos at 1-6. You know what, y'all? I got a confession to make, man. I'm kind of selfish. Man. I'm going to tell you why. And then we're going to get into the main meat of the show. I'm kind of selfish because as a content creator, it's almost like we're players in a sense. And here's what I mean. Everything you say is picked through with a fine-tooth comb. Like they pick through, you say something wrong, you mispronounce something, and a lot of creators are scared to stand out on a ledge because if we tell you something, y'all trust us, right? Y'all trust us for information, even though we don't have any sources. We're like the regular, the everyman. But the difference between us is we just put our opinions on this platform. We make videos. But and sometimes it's tough. Sometimes, we can influence your decision or make you see something, help you see something you didn't see. And now if we steer you wrong, then you're upset and you're mad at us. And I think because of that, creators have become timid and a little, kind of a little hesitant of putting their opinion out there, right? Because it gets decimated sometimes. But it bothers me, though. It bothers me that now people talking playoffs. It completely bothers me, man, because when we talk about it, we all know what SOL came from. We all know why we feel the way we do. And I think that for the first time in my watching the Detroit Lions, I feel like it's dead. I do. I know that a lot of y'all are going to go back to SOL. I know it's inside of you. You cannot help yourself. But I feel like it is dead. But I said at 1-6 that the Detroit Lions were not done. Like, my thing was I have to live in a season. Tomorrow's not promised. And as Lions fans, as part of that SOL mentality, when it sucks because we go to the draft in week 4, right? But I'm kind of selfish. when it comes to this because a lot of creators have been flip-flopping. Now they talking playoffs, and it grinds my gears, bro. You didn't want to stand on that ledge at 1-6. You was talking draft at 1-6. Now we all go through the fire, everybody. We all go through that. I said I wanted them guys fired next year if we didn't win. I didn't say this year. I wanted next year. I said if they don't win, I wanted them both gone. Once they traded T.J. Hockenson. At that point, we were 1-6. We were like, what are they doing? Dan Campbell had lost us 3 or 4 games. I was upset. And I'm like, it's obvious he don't know what he's doing. It's obvious he don't know what he's doing. Show me you know what you're doing, and then I'll have faith, right? What happens? At the lowest we could be, we lost. We dropped to 1-6. We led the Miami Dolphins at halftime. What was it? 27-17. We don't score another point. Something like that. The very next day, we fire Aubrey Pleasant. Is he scapegoated? I still think he was, 100%. I think he was the pawn used. He was the sacrificial lamb used to spark this team. And it worked. It worked. And don't forget, Aubrey Pleasant is with the Green Bay Packers right now. Just saying. I'm just saying. So I feel like we were at the bottom. But if you were talking draft, man, to me, it's unfair you get to talk playoffs now. And when I say talk draft, I'm not talking about like a video here, a video there. I'm talking about Bryce Young, get rid of Jared Goff. We need to do this. We need just all day long, you're talking about the draft. When we have an entire season left to go. The season isn't over. And if you want to get out of SOL, if you want to shake the loser mentality, stay in the season. Stay in the season. Stay in the season. We stay in the offseason. Like I said before, my channel grew 5,000 and we didn't take a single snap. And then since we have, it's only grown 2. There's a discrepancy there. Content is the same. The product is different, right? So I'm a bit selfish, man, because people take pride in when they right and they got to own up when they wrong. Do you know that my prediction for the season is 2 games off? It's 2 games off. The only difference that I've projected in this season so far is the Green Bay Packer game and the Seattle game. I had us losing to Green Bay and beating Seattle. Every other game has gone the same. If you don't believe me, you can go check the tape. It bothers me, y'all. So I'm not going to lie. I'm not a selfish guy, very giving guy, but with this, I'm going to be selfish. I feel a little selfish, man. You don't get the Lions in playoff positioning. Now we're talking playoffs. When you were telling people, these creators were telling people that we weren't going to make the playoffs. And now, see, you'll notice about your favorite creators that they like to stand on the fence. They pick the fence because the fence is neither here nor there. They're safe. They don't want to stand out on a ledge and be ostracized. It's annoying, y'all. It's annoying. But anyway, that's my rant for today. So let's do this. The LA Rams have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. Nobody gave them a chance with no Matthew Stafford, no Cooper Kupp, no Aaron Donald, no nothing, no offensive line. The Rams are done. And they are the first team since 2003, the first Super Bowl champion team to be eliminated with more than 1 week left. They have a losing record. Les Snead said, forget them picks. He got a championship, and he's now paying the price. And with that loss yesterday, not only were they eliminated from playoff contention, but they essentially submit a top 10, top 5 pick. And that pick goes to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions will have the LA Rams first round pick via the Matthew Stafford trade. But listen, y'all, it might not be any better next year. It might not be any better next year because the Detroit Lions, or the LA Rams, I'm sorry, the LA Rams, does anybody know how much projected cap space they have? They have, it is projected, $6.7 million. Matthew Stafford comes back. Cooper Kupp is back, healthy. Allen Robinson, the big target wide receiver that was pretty much nothing over there. The whole team fell apart. But why am I talking about the LA Rams? Because They sold out. They got what they wanted, and now they're paying the price. Part of them selling out was giving us Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a number 3 overall pick that turned into Ife Melifonwu. And right now, the Detroit Lions have the 4th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. Now, right now, where the Detroit Lions pick for themselves is number 18. Number 18, guys. You know what number 18 is? Number 18 is pretty much either the first playoff exit or right before that. Somewhere around there. But the reason I'm bringing up the Rams is mainly for their pick. The best the Rams could be is 7-10, and with 10 losses, they were eliminated from playoff contention. And the Detroit Lions have their pick. And I want to talk about this because I think a lot of you guys are going to be excited. Now, we know about the draft. We know it doesn't mean anything. All these mock drafts, and from January the 9th until the end of April, we have to hear mock after mock. From Todd McShay to Mel Kiper to your local Joe on the street. But I saw this today, and I thought y'all would be intrigued by this because I know how y'all feeling about the draft. Now, before, it was Bryce Young. It was Bryce Young, and it still may be for a lot of you guys, but unless the Rams completely fall off and the Bears and Texans and the Denver Broncos win some games, we're not going to go any higher. And we're going to be probably 4 or 5, somewhere around there. And I know a lot of you guys want a particular player, and I think you guys are going to love this. With the 4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jalen Carter, Georgia, defensive lineman. Tankathon has Jalen Carter going 4. Bryce Young to the Texans, Will Anderson to the Chicago Bears. That is something I do not want to see. C.J. Stroud going to the Seattle Seahawks via the Denver Broncos. And guess what, y'all? I think all 3 of those could play out just like that. After the Detroit Lions take Jalen Carter, the Arizona Cardinals, who are eliminated from playoff contention, take Myles Murphy. The Indianapolis Colts take Will Levis. The Falcons take Tyree Wilson. The Carolina Panthers take Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU. And then to round out the top 10 is that Kylie Ringo, and Peter Skoronski goes to the Raiders. The Eagles get a pick via the Saints. I'm not sure why that's like that. I don't really know. And I know that the Miami Dolphins forfeited their 1st round pick due to talking to Tom Brady when he was still with the Patriots. The NFL found out and docked them a pick. So Detroit Lions fans, how we feeling? Funny thing is, like I said, I can see the draft going just like that. 100%. I think the Seattle Seahawks will take a quarterback because they keep passing on one. They could have taken one last year. They decided not to. I think that plays out I could see that playing out just like that. That Jalen Carter becomes a Detroit Lion at number 4 overall. 6'3", 310 pounds, 29 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. I can see that 100%. Mo says, I'm not a Jalen Carter fan. Anyone else? I am. He's a run stuffer. Now, Todd McShay came out last week and said that there were some character problems with Jalen Carter. And that's a big deal. If they are true, that is a big deal. Now, you have to remember that the Lions, they do all these interviews. You got the Wonderlic test. You got a lot of things that these players do Tons and tons and tons of interviews. Jalen Carter, as far as I know, has not opted out of the playoffs to secure his draft stock. So my question is, if Jalen Carter is there at 4, do you want him? I'm assuming that's going to be a resounding yes. The thing I'm wondering is about the character issues. Are they true? And you know what happens, man? All you got to do is put it out there. All you have to do is put it out there. Everybody remember what happened to Laramie Tunsil? But all you got to do is put it out there, man. Just throw it out. And next thing you know, draft stock starts to fall. Very similar how Trayvon Walker shot up out of nowhere. When we were going into April, Trayvon Walker was not the projected first overall pick. He was barely in the first round. All of a sudden, he blazes up the board where he just overtakes everybody. So that's what I wanted to know. Tankathon. Bryce Young will be a Houston Texan. Will Anderson will be a Chicago Bear. Man, we're going to have to see him for years to come. C.J. Stroud goes to the Seattle Seahawks, and Jalen Carter comes to the Detroit Lions. I could see it going exactly like that. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. But yeah, y'all, this is when I saw this yesterday. Now, this isn't done. The Rams still got they got 3 more games and potentially 3 more losses. Seattle is going to get Denver's pick, so it doesn't matter what they do. And then the Chicago Bears, man, they could win maybe a game, maybe. And then Bryce Young is securely going to the Houston Texans. I think if the Houston Texans, there's no way. Davis Mills was what, 3rd round pick? There's no way they keep Davis. That's going to be crazy, bro. By the way, I saw something today, one of my fellas put, that Josh Rosen is on the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. That dude, if I was him, man, I'd go to the XFL or USFL or something, man. His days in the NFL seem to be over. He can't even play enough to get going. So Lions Media says, what kind of character issues didn't they say the same thing about Micah Parsons? They did. But Micah Parsons was projected to go top 10, and he didn't, right? Didn't he go like 11? Didn't he go he didn't go top 10, did he? But they did say that. Sounds like rumors to lessen his stock. They said that a lot about great edge rushers. The Detroit team is built about character too. Bears could take Carter because of scheme. I think we get Will Anderson. Bears get Jalen Carter. Walker was trending way before that, says Michael. You think so? I don't know, bro. I mean, he might have been trending at the combine, but I don't remember he just was all of a sudden number 1. I don't remember that, but I could be wrong. I think the Bears take Carter. Really? Wow. So if they take Carter, I'm assuming you guys would take Anderson, or do you want C.J. Stroud? I didn't even know Rosen was still in the league. Dang. Dang. I think Goff is doing a great job right now, but I wouldn't mind grabbing a decent QB with the 4th pick just in case this year's just a fluke. Well, Timothy, you have to take one in the 3rd, bro, because we don't have a 4th. I think we gave that 4th to TJ Hockenson. I'm not certain, but I know we don't have a 4th. 100%. We got a lot of 1-year contracts as well. We're definitely going to lose people, unfortunately. Yeah, we could. Khalif Raymond won't be one of the people. He signed a 2-year deal, and I think Khalif Raymond. I'm sorry. I for real thought he retired after Miami. Nope. He got picked up today by the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. I have them taking Will Anderson. The Bears need to replace Khalil Mack with their edge rusher. Will Anderson might be the best player in the draft as of now. I don't see him dropping to 4. Could we trade back possibly if someone wants Stroud. We could, but again, what do y'all want? What would be the the least amount y'all take? The least amount y'all will take? Not sure. But listen, I need to clear my cache because my GPU is too high. It is that time. We are the last day of week 15 in the NFL season. We have 3 weeks to go. Lions sit at 7-7. Have won 6 out of their last 7 after starting 1-6 and lost to the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving. I'm going to just say it because Jeff Okudah wasn't in the game. Hey, look, I'm going to just say it. Jeff Okudah wasn't in the game. I'm going to say that's why we lost. I don't even care it was Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. I'm going to say we lost because Jeff Okudah wasn't in the game. We needed somebody. He had just got concussed the week before. Can y'all believe that the Lions were 4-6 when we played the Buffalo Bills? You dropped to 4-7 and have won 3 straight. We went on 2 different 3-game winning streaks. And now we are at 7-7. You think about it, it could have gone either way. It could have gone this way. We could be 10 and whatever. It could have gone that way. If we do this, we beat the Bills. If we do that, we beat the Vikings. If we do this, we beat the Eagles. And if we do that, if we had a defense, we beat the Seattle Seahawks. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But the NFL, man, game of 1 drive, 1 play, inches. That's why they call it that. But with these 2 separate 3-game winning streaks, the Detroit Lions have done something that I have not seen in a long time. In a long time. Last week we talked about it. That the Lions were top 10 in the power rankings. And today, the Detroit Lions sit at number 7 in the NFL power rankings. Number 7. Number 7. Unreal. You're talking about the top quarter of the league. Not half, not 3. The top quarter of the league, the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, 7-7. Ranked 7, up 3, previous ranked 10. This comes from NFL Network. The Lions can win ugly too. Dan Campbell's Grit Monsters, wow, so now we're the Grit Monsters, we're not the Grit Warriors, went to the Meadowlands and struggled to break through against a stellar Jets defense until it mattered most. Facing 4th and inches at midfield with 2 minutes to play, offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, his head coach stock going up by the week. A lot of these close games we're starting to lean more toward us than them, said Jared Goff. That hasn't always been the case around here. We fully believe in each other and know that somebody's going to make a play and do something right. The Detroit Lions are believing in each other. And you know what I think about when I hear this? Is when Jared Goff, it was after, I want to say, it was the first 4 games of the season. And he got up there and he said, we're not going there. We're already there. That really stuck with me because you're watching the Lions and you're like, man, if the defense could stop anybody, I mean, who knows what we'd be, because the offense was rolling. Don't forget, y'all, we had the number 1 offense the first 4 or 5 weeks in the season. We didn't start to lose grip on that until like the Patriots game when we put up 0. And from that point on, we've steadily been top 10, I believe. And now we sit in the top 10 somewhere around there, right? I think we're 5 or something. We were scoring, we had, 5 games in a row or something like that. We scored 30 points or more. And then Dan Campbell would come out and say, we're right there. I believe in these guys. And we saw that on Sunday. Gritty win, man. Gritty win. I didn't know what to expect from the 4th and inches play. I'm thinking the same thing you guys are thinking. It's going to Jamal Williams. It's going to St. Brown, something like that. And the offensive line gave Jared Goff all the time in the world, enough for that 3-second play or whatever it was to develop and Brock Wright to be wide open. And that one play led to a victory. Nobody thought at the halfway mark of the field he was going to run the entire distance. Way to make up for the drop earlier in that drive. But the Detroit Lions are not only top 10, ranked 7. Teams above them, the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Buffalo Bills, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles beat us by 3. Buffalo Bills beat us by 3. Dallas Cowboys, we just gave that game away. Don't forget about Jamal Williams' fumble that would have given us the lead. And then from that moment on, it was all downhill. So out of the 6 teams above us, we lost by 3 points to the Eagles, 3 points to the Buffalo Bills, and the Dallas game was a absolute disaster. You're okay to have one. That is insane. And the thing is, we're not done. We're not done. If the Lions finish the season 10-7, they could be top 5. Top 5. That is insane. Rounding out the top 10 is the Minnesota Vikings at number 8, the Los Angeles Chargers at number 9, and the Miami Dolphins, who beat us by what, 4? Because we couldn't score again. I think it was 31-27, somewhere around there. The Detroit Lions, 1-6, 6-1 since, are number 7 in the NFL power rankings. How unreal is that? Unreal, y'all. Absolutely. Did Dan Campbell ever get on today? Because I don't think I saw him at all. Let me see what y'all are talking about. I don't want Bears with the number 2 pick. I trust Holmes. He's killed the last two drafts. That is facts. Minnesota is sweating us getting into the playoffs. They know we can beat them. That's facts as well. Holmes has killed like 2/3. Wait, Holmes has had like 2/3 misses, and they were due to injury, not lack of skill. So y'all still talking about the draft. Where we sit in the draft right now, there's a big possibility we could trade back with the Panthers or Colts. Okay. All right. If we trade back with the Colts, darn, why? Why? If they sit, because they got a good chance of getting Will Levis if that's who they want. Why would they come up? So you're saying that the Carolina Panthers come up to get a quarterback, and I'm guessing that quarterback is Will Levis. Is that why that's happening? What do you think is the biggest draft need? Ooh. You know, this is weird to me. This is weird. Because early in the season, it was easy. Early in the season, it was, hey, it was easy, like anything, right? Now, oh my goodness, this is tough. Because you got Romeo's back. McNeil is stepping up. I mean, Isaiah Buggs is doing things. It depends. Biggest draft need, I still think is on the defensive side of the ball. I would probably still say linebacker. I would say linebacker, safety, and then somebody on the D-line. Durham says corner is not even close. Well, let me see. The first corner they have coming off the board is Ringo. I don't know. See, we could say all we want, but then we don't know what the Lions are going to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what they're going to do. We have no clue. Because you're thinking about, will they bring back Anzalone? Will they try to get another linebacker in free agency? Dan Campbell really, really likes Alex Anzalone. Like, really, really likes him. Said he's the quarterback of the defense. He's a great athlete. Porter Jr., they got him coming at 13. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at a corner because the opposite side of Jeff Okudah is just, we don't know what we're getting over there. I mean, Jacobs, he does all right. But I don't know, man. I think the Detroit Lions could surprise y'all, man. I really do. I think they're going to surprise you. I think some of y'all feelings might be hurt. I wouldn't expect him to trade back. I don't think that. I thought he could last year, but I don't think he's going to trade back. I don't think. But speaking of cornerbacks, I wanted to say this. Let me see where we at 40 minutes. 40 minutes in. Now, I think that this is funny. And we were talking about cornerbacks. Oh, man. And let me see. One cornerback, he feeling some type of way. And I know Dern know who I'm talking about. Because Dern loves this guy. He was talking very highly of him during the combine and the lead up to the draft. And we had a debate last week about whether or not this guy was a shutdown corner. And I understand what y'all are saying about if he takes away an entire side of the field, then you have to say yes. My thought was, if he doesn't travel with your best player, and you know what? I think we both right. If you take away a whole side of the field, that's one thing. But I think you can be beat like that. There is a guy who came and played in this Sunday's game against the Detroit Lions. He's upset. He went to Cincinnati, played with Desmond Ridder, and he's mad because the Detroit Lions didn't throw his way one time. We're talking about potential defensive rookie of the year, Sauce Ahmad, it's an A in there, Sauce Gardner. Says, Jared Goff, this is from Pride of Detroit, dropped back to pass 38 times in the win over the New York Jets, but did not choose to challenge the 2022 NFL Draft fourth overall pick one time. Since 2017, only 3 NFL quarterbacks had more coverage snaps in a game without a target per Next Gen stats. Ahmad said, yesterday I wasn't targeted, and I took that personally because I wanted to make a bigger impact on the game. You guys were asking me throughout the whole week if it was personal, and I was really saying it wasn't. But the day before the game, when I had people from my hometown calling me and stuff like that, they made it kind of personal, Gardner said. I was saying I wasn't going to get my first pick six against the Lions. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was going to get my first pick six against the Lions. I was going to do this. I was going to do that, but I didn't get targeted. So I really didn't get the opportunity. So it sounds like people were saying he wasn't going to do anything. He said he was. And he wanted to pick six us. Well, you know what, young man? I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Because I would have never heard the end of it. Also, that could have helped your team win. I think that, listen, he was my biggest concern once I found out Williams was going to be out. He was my biggest concern, even before that, really. And I'm like, oh, Jared Goff hasn't turned the ball over in 4 or 5 games. Don't start now. And I was concerned about this young man because he is definitely living up to the 4th overall pick. Potential defensive rookie of the year. And I did not want Jared Goff to throw an interception, especially to him. Because I think that he could have changed the game. And Jared Goff, again, did not. And maybe that's why he didn't have an interception, because he didn't target him. You know what? I don't know. I see what y'all saying about shutdown. I've always seen that. If you limit one side, you take away one side of the field. My thing is, if you have a dominant wide receiver like a Stephon Diggs, a Devontae Adams, a Keenan Allen, you know what I mean, a Mike Evans, then your best player on defense, in my opinion, need to be on his side. They need to be on him. They need to limit him, like Calvin Johnson. If Calvin Johnson, whatever side Calvin Johnson is on, you got to be on that side. But Sauce Gardner did not get targeted. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And we got the win. I got no problem with that at all. So what y'all, listen, I was concerned, man. I was concerned about this young man, but turns out that, and we were talking about it during the broadcast about why we didn't hear his name a lot. That's because he wasn't targeted. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Nothing to boost his defensive rookie of the year stats. None of that stuff. And I'm okay with that. But we gotta figure out what's going on, man. And I think, like I asked y'all last week, what do y'all think the Detroit Lions are going to do? I think this was Thursday or Friday, about you got to pick a side. And it was, if we beat the Jets, if we do this. We got 3 games left. And we got the opportunity to be in the playoffs this week. Seems like a dream that the Detroit Lions have the opportunity to be in the playoffs. Detroit did exactly what I wanted him to do. Throw everywhere Sauce isn't covering, because if we did that, he may have had his first pick 6. And you know what, y'all? So about that, KD. Okay. So here's my argument with people that say, and I think I'm going to lean toward shutdown as a receiver, as a defender that follows the receiver. I'm going to tell you why. The reason I say that is because if you don't target the side, you take that player out completely. Whereas if Jalen Ramsey is on DK Metcalf, DK is a specimen, right? He got to outweigh Jalen by 50 pounds. But Jalen is going to be on their best wide receiver. If you don't follow the best wide receiver, you're taken out of the game like the Detroit Lions did with Sauce. So Sauce sitting over there ain't getting no action. But a guy like Jalen Ramsey is going to follow the best receiver. You know what I'm saying? So that for me is, now he gets on. Come on, Dan. Dan Campbell, what are you doing, man? Come on. Well, you know what? I don't get on at the same time either. I can't be too mad. Dan Campbell's on now. So let's see what he got to say. Hopefully the Lions got their audio right today, because yesterday it was on a whole nother level. Yep. Lions Drive, what's up, my man? What's going on? All right, we're going to bring him in. But Dan Campbell, man. All right, let me do this. Y'all know how I got to do. Let me bring it in real quick. Because I was expecting like, I don't know, 2:15, somewhere around there. All right, let me do this. Get past these ads real quick. They won't let me sign in on this thing, so I have to watch ads. How does it feel watching ads, man? I haven't seen ads in 3 years. YouTube Premium is beautiful. It is beautiful. All right, they won't let me skip that one, but they'll let me skip this one. It was a non-skippable ad. Y'all love them, don't you? Non-skippables. All right. And then they got the closed captions on by default. All right. So here's Dan Campbell at the podium.
Afternoon. All right, basically everything's the same as yesterday, so it's really nothing new. We got to walk through practice today. This opponent, it's a good opponent, you know. They've been in a lot of close games. I think Coach Wilkes is doing a great job. I've known him from afar for a while in that division when he was defensive coordinator. secondary at Carolina when I was at New Orleans, and they were always a pain in the ass. So they play that way. They're talented. Derek Brown's a hell of a player, and we knew he would be when he was a rookie. He can do it all. He's heavy, he's violent, he's explosive. Burns is really grown, man, as a rusher, edge defender. He's come a long way, uber talented. 97's a good player, Shaq, I've watched Shaq for a long time, played against him as far as there again when I was at New Orleans. He played the wheel, played the big nickel, and now he's the Mike. And so he's done all of them. He was with Kuechly all those years, so he's a smart football player, very active. Chin's a good player. Horn, man, we liked him coming out. He's been what we thought he'd be, good player. So his defense is stacked. They play hard. They run after the ball. And offensively, they have an identity. They want to run the football. They want to play action pass. This left tackle comes off the rock. This O-line comes off the rock. They've got a stable of backs that are aggressive downhill. And then Moore's dangerous. They got a couple of tight ends that are good players. Moore's a dangerous receiver. So, look, we got our hands full,
When you talk about your defense, you look at last year, you guys led the league in missed tackles with 132. You guys have reduced that to 48 this year. I think that's fifth fewest in the league. Just what's been the biggest difference, you think, in that department specifically, Dan? What's been the focus there, and why have you guys been so much better at kind of getting guys onto the ground?
You just make an emphasis of it, and that's something that we've talked about for a long time. And you got to be able to tackle. You got to work it. We do work it, and we've done a good job. It was something that we identified. And look, you want a good defense, you better be able to tackle, and you better get takeaways. And we're doing those things right now. So that's credit to Aaron Glenn and his staff.
You said nothing's new, but you were expecting an update on Deshaun yesterday afternoon. Anything you can relay there about his condition?
Yeah, I would say right now he's looking like he probably won't be able to make it.
Is this a multi-week thing you're looking at?
It's hard to say that. As of right now, it looks like it doesn't look very promising. But there again, we'll see how he feels every day.
One of the things you talked about in New York was your message to your team about not playing like you're afraid to lose, and that was kind of going to be the toughest thing about them going forward. How much of that is part of the messaging already this week, and isn't?
No, look. I honestly didn't really even hit that other than what I said. We talked about it at the game the other day. And so really this is just about, look, I showed them where we're at. They know exactly where we're at in the standings, and that we know what's in front of us, and we know it all starts with this one. So it's very much the same as it's been. We got a really good opponent. We got to go to their place. The weather is going to be cold. It'll be a little windy. And this team has an identity, and they're going to try to bully us. And so we have to be able to, to absorb it and answer back.
It's a little bit of a homecoming for Romeo. He's from Charlotte. You talked about him a little bit Sunday. But for him to get the sacks, and especially coming off everything he went through the past 13 months, what did that game mean? And maybe you can speak a little bit about just the work that he put in, I guess, to get back to this point, too.
Yeah, Rome's is, You wish they were all like Rome's. I mean, he's a blue collar guy. He puts in the work, and this has been a long, it's been a long process. Everybody heals differently, and so he just, man, I tell you what, I never saw him get down. I know it can get frustrating, that's for sure, but he never let it break him. He never let it, bleed into having a bad day, and he's somebody that believes in just stacking the days, man, putting in the work day after day, and he's a smart guy, hard worker, and there again, we're 3 weeks with him, and he's gotten better every week, and so look, I think it's just a testament to the kind of guy he is, the character, the type of character that he has, because he's worked himself back into this position is what he's done, and he's only going to get better and better and better more he plays.
Like PG had said, that you didn't really even get a chance to use him last year because he got hurt so early. So to add him to the pass rushing stable that you got now, what do you make of the
Yeah, it's good. Look, even the run game, I mean, that's the thing. His length and his strength, and to be able to set edges for us. And then on top of that is the rush. You know, there again, you got him on the perimeter, you got Hutch, you got Houston, you got Commission side, you got Pascal. So, you know, we got some options in our backers. So believe me, he helps us. I mean, he definitely helps us in that department. So it's great to have him back, you know. And there again, just from having him on the field, you know, that in itself is that's what it's about, production. But everybody loves Rome's, man, you know, because he does. He's all about the team. He's a hard worker, and so it's good to have him back.
This is sort of uncharted water for a lot of your players, being in the playoff hunt and all the attention and expectations, except maybe for Goff. Obviously, he's been through it. But is that something you need to address with your player, or do you see that affecting them in any way, that all of a sudden they're kind of the darlings of the NFL?
Well, I kind of feel like if it was going to happen, it would have happened last week, because I felt like all of a sudden there was this big, you know, all this attention, and everybody wants a piece of the players and coaches, and so if it was going to happen, it was then. I think because that was a big swing, you know. We were in the sewer before that, and then all of a sudden life's great. So, and so I feel like, all right, we're through it now. To me, it's, man, the emphasis on there again. You can never lose sight. You got to respect the opponent and what they're capable of. They got a chance to win this division. They're very much in the hunt. So we understand that. We identify that. We know it's a physical unit. But the other thing is, man, you don't know. This is we got an opportunity. And you just don't know when these opportunities are always going to be there. And so we can't let this slip through our fingers. And by saying that, which is what you asked me a minute ago, was, you know, we can't get so uptight with that. But it's, you know, the stakes go higher and our temperature's got to go down. And that's how we have to handle it. But we have an opportunity here. And I think that in itself is, you know, a guy like Decker's been here 7 years, been in one playoff. Hey, man, you don't know. And we are trending the right way. And I believe we're going to get better. We'll be better every year. But that doesn't mean you don't know what kind of opportunity you have, particularly you young guys, man. You better hold on to it and grasp it, us coaches, all of us. And let's make the most of it.
Physicality and their bullying style since Darnold's been in, they've shown their offensive game plan is to run it down your throat. Talk about stopping the run every week is a priority, but is it even more so with an opponent like this that has shown that that's what they want to do?
It'll be everything, because look, it's what Pittsburgh was able to do. They did a good job of being able to shut down that run game, and they got off the field on third down, and so Pittsburgh ended up playing the type of game that they really wanted to play, and they possessed the ball. They were able to get off the field on third down, their defense. Pittsburgh was able to shoot. They were 75% on third down, their offense, so they stayed on the field. But it'll be very important, because if they can get this run game going, which they're pretty good at, their play action pass is real good off of it, you know. And now you've got those strike routes with more. Your backers have to come down to attack the run, and there's just open space back there. So it'll be real important, and that's when Darnold's at his best too. He's playing pretty good football when they're able to do that.
Coach, along with what we were just talking about a minute ago about all the attention and all that, what's the value of having a veteran quarterback who's been through all this?
Yeah, that's
games, big games, all of that stuff.
That is big. You know, that is big, because look, your quarterback is, you know, he kind of gets everything magnified. That position does, right? The highs and the lows. Everything is he has to absorb so much more than really even a lot of guys do. And so when your quarterback's been through it, it helps. I mean, and golf in general is a pretty even kill guy, which I think is great. You know, he doesn't get too low, he doesn't get too high, but he has been through it, and that is big, you know, because, you know, we got a number of guys that they can draw off of his experiences. You know, he can help them with that. Look, we do have a few guys now. You know, Brocker's been through it. He's been through it. Jamal's been through it. Alex has been through it. You know, just this type of football. So, you know, we got some guys, but, you know, other than that, you know, we are young, but you can use those guys to to draw from.
Holiday weekend on the road, are there any challenges that come with that, like Christmas Eve, family
No,
stuff?
no.
Like that? No.
No, not for us. I mean, we'll do whatever we got to do. We'll leave when we got to leave, and we'll play when we got to play. So, you want to play tomorrow? We'll play tomorrow. All good.
All right, that was your coach, Dan Campbell. This will be the last segment of the day. It was so much I took out of that. But here, I'm going to call it, bro. I said it last week that this team, I had a dream that we was going to the playoffs. We was going to the playoffs, and Dan Campbell, he got them boys believing. If you read through the lines, he that was called coach talk. Coach talk is I'm going to say the right things at the right time because that's what coaches do. If you read in between the lines, he's saying we got to get to the playoffs. He's saying he's trying to show these guys this is an opportunity you cannot squander. They know where they are. They hear where they are. Everybody's talking about them. But still, this is an opportunity that it doesn't come often. Taylor Decker, one playoff game, which was the 2016 game. The one we got decimated by the Seattle Seahawks. And isn't it fitting that they're also competing for that spot? He said all the right things, but what I heard is the undercover talk, the stuff we don't see. Fellas, we got a chance here. We got a chance to do something that nobody really thought we were going to do at the beginning of the season. Even the media attention. You know what, Dan Campbell, we ask the question all the time about like armchair GMs. And I think one thing about fans that makes us, sometimes it's so annoying, but sometimes it's great. The banter that goes back and forth. We be ready to fire everybody. And I think Robert Saleh, I loved what he said about the instant coffee world. I mean, I think when it comes to the Lions, we got a little more, we've never been to a Super Bowl. We've got one playoff win in 60-something years, all the negative stats that you can have. So I think there's a lot of reason for us to feel the way we do, but at the same time, the decisions that we would make would be ridiculous. But Dan Campbell, man, he's seen the vision. He's known the course of the ship all along. And he's telling these guys, listen, you might not get this chance for a long time. So, yeah, we go out there, we handle business, we go to the playoffs. I love how playoffs is becoming a conversation, even for the team. When we were winning in 4-7 and blah, 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 and because we were in the hunt back then, it was there, but it was like, eh. And then as of last week, with that win over the Minnesota Vikings, now we're hearing the word playoffs coming from Dan Campbell and the players. And now you can't act like you don't hear what people are saying. You can, but I love what he said too. We got to take care of business. We got to play. We have to play. Even, I can tell you what, we get to the last game of the season against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. No matter what's on the line, Dan Campbell going to say the same thing. The same thing he said today. These players know what's on the line. Yada, yada. Coach talk. Let's go in there and handle business. And you know what, y'all? Even though we didn't win the division, nobody had us winning the division this year. And the Green Bay Packers are a team we're not going to have to worry about. Their time is over. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings, we're going to have to worry about them either. This year to me is just a weird year, in a year of parity where every team is alive in the NFL. But the Minnesota Vikings, I don't see the dominance that the Green Bay Packers had. But I could see if Brad Holmes builds this team right, that the Detroit Lions could be that dominant force in the North. And we deserve it. We have never won the North, never seen a title in 20 years. In the 20 years the North has existed, we've never seen it. We've come close twice. And that man that we have to play in Week 18 has stood in our way every single time. We are on the rise. But I love what he said. He didn't pretend that the playoffs are not a real thing. He didn't pretend that they don't see it. Of course they see it. But his words were, handle business in the next game so that you can have this opportunity. Because you may not get it again. You may not get it again. Frank Ragnow hasn't seen a playoff game. And everybody that he mentioned, I want to say has seen some playoff action. As Anzalone, Josh Reynolds, he's seen it. Last time Jared Goff went to the playoffs, he was there with him. And you got to believe that those guys are hyping this team up, letting them know. And he keeps talking about Brockers like Brockers is the grandpa of the team. Brockers didn't even travel with the team. But, and I'm wondering if that's the whole reason Brockers is still here. Because Brockers is on the shirt and the T-shirt. He's on the sideline in a T-shirt. He didn't travel with the team. He was sick. We haven't seen Michael Brockers play in probably months. Probably months. But he keeps talking about every press conference this week. He's mentioned Michael Brockers. So, Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions are very aware of where they are. And just like the 3 games before this Carolina game, they know what they have to do. And I'm going to be real. I think that they're in a great position to get there. Justin Fields, they played him already. They played him in their place. I'm not saying that he can't beat us, but I think we play him much better than we did the first time. He don't have a record-setting day. Dern says Brockers is strictly a locker room guy, 100%. And that's important, though, because I think we are the second youngest team in the league. Veteran leadership. Brockers was with the Rams. He knows what winning feels like. Unbelievable, man. I think the Lions are going to make it. I told y'all the other day. This was before the Jets game that the Lions are making the playoffs. The Lions are making the playoff. Rich strike of the NFL. Shout out to Peter King, man. But he wasn't the only one that caught it. I caught it too. But, sometimes you gotta toot your own horn, man. Sometimes you do. But listen, I got to get off because I don't want to cut into my man's time. Touchdown Detroit Lions will be at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, hosted by Nick. This is his 3rd show, so appreciate the support. And, yeah, I will see y'all then. I'm sorry, y'all. I was still recording. Didn't know I was recording. But you know what? We got one more thing. One more thing, man. We got one more thing, man, because I need to do this. I need to talk about this. And then we'll wrap it up. Your boy, man. Your boy got goals, man. Your boy got goals. I got some things going on. Oh, so if you haven't heard that Zach Wilson will be starting. He did not, as Jeff Okudah with the Thanksgiving game for the Detroit Lions. The Jets play on Thursday night, and Mike White was not cleared to play, so Zach Wilson will be playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's going to be a good one. But it was one more thing I wanted to talk about. We can't help talking about this guy. We cannot help talk about this guy. All right. So this guy is very familiar to me. I'm very familiar with him. Watched him for 12 years in Detroit. And unfortunately for him, we never were able to win a playoff game with his time as Detroit Lions quarterback. Matthew Stafford is who I'm referring to, was traded almost 2 years ago, blockbuster trade, for one Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick. And now, for the LA Rams, as of last year, they were the 2021 Super Bowl champions. So it all worked out for Stafford, the Rams, and if you ask me, the Detroit Lions. But I heard this today as I was starting my day. A lot of speculation on Matthew Stafford and whether or not he was going to retire. Now, he has a spinal contusion. I don't know the severity of that type of injury, but I really, really believe that he was considering retiring because of his injury, the fact that he has very small children, and he's young. He's 34 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him. He's got their life ahead of him. But coming out today, Matthew Stafford went in beast mode. Man, oh man. Everybody in Detroit knows about Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly, very outspoken. She was like that here. She is like that there. And when she talks, a lot of people listen. And she has a podcast called The Morning After. And I want to say she started that after the trade. And I thought that he was going to retire. But he, I guess, shook up the NFL world today. According to CBS Sports, the 34-year-old passer Matthew Stafford, who has been on injured reserve with a concussion and neck injury, that is a spinal contusion, since December 3rd, simply replied no when asked if he was going to retire on his wife, Kelly. So he just told her no. And my version of what and we all know Stafford, a man of few words, never had a lot to say in Detroit. This is my version of what Matthew Stafford said to his wife. No. He said, no, I'm not retiring. You know, I thought he was. I thought he was going to retire because he got the chip. And I'm like, you know what, Stafford, he got it all. He got money. He got fame. He got what he wanted. Walk away. He signed an extension with the LA Rams, $160 million, which all is guaranteed for injury, according to Mike Garafolo. A lot of players went down. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. They lost Von Miller. They lost Odell Beckham. And they're not the same. As a matter of fact, they have the most losses by a Super Bowl winner the year before, since 1980. The 2022 LA Rams. And I really thought he was gone. But could you imagine? Like, you know what? Stafford always been a G, man, and he a G. Just told her no. Now, I wonder, did they talk about this before this podcast? Or he just dropped the bomb on her? He just dropped the bomb on her, said, no, I'm not retiring. He simply said no. Well, good for Matthew. I hope that when he comes back, he's healthy. He was an Iron Man in Detroit, played for 8 consecutive seasons without missing one game. And then it seems like everything piled up. He had back injuries. He started missing games after that and then the trade. He's always been a tough man, an Iron Man. And I think that those hits and all that stuff with no offensive line, we saw it last night. We saw it last night. No offensive line. Whitworth retired, and it seems like that whole offensive line fell apart. And he got mangled. I think the hit he got hurt on, 3 people just collided and just smushed him in. Spinal contusion and a concussion. But when asked on, you know what? I want to see that clip. He simply replied, no. You know what? Oh, yeah, from today. It's 56 minutes. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. It's called The Morning After with Kelly Stafford. As a matter of fact, y'all got to see this. I mean, it's a whole vibe, like Family Ties going on here. 100%. Look at the Family Ties right there. Tell me you don't get Family Ties vibes. And I thought he was going to retire, but you can listen to it on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. But Matthew Stafford said, nope, I'm not retiring. Good for him. Hopefully he stays healthy, man. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Anyway, y'all, had to do it. I heard it today. I was like, man, I have to. Let me go back to this. Where is it at? Right here. All right, so here's the plans. Touchdown Detroit Lions happens in about 50 minutes right here on this channel, hosted by Nick. Happens every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. He's on for about an hour or so. Then we got the Saturday show with David Pike. Is going to be a reoccurring thing as well. And I'm working on some other things. Still looking for Pistons guys, Red Wings guys, the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to have to talk about them real soon as well. But you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.